Pauhana Years, a new day for older Americans, a time for living. Your host, Bob Barker.
Hi, and welcome to the program for and by the senior citizens of Hawaii. Today on Pauhana Years, we're going to be entertained by musicians and dancers from the Kalihi Palama area as we learn more about the project Area-Wide Opportunities for Senior Citizens. First, the Susanna Serenaders with Molokai Nui Ahina.
Ike kukila kila oka obua Aia ilana ka ua oka hene mai o hulana mahali Uali ke no ali ke la me ku honi hana E po o ke la ika piko na kuahi Mai moloka inui ahina, haina ika behi behi, e ho'i na hau, e ni ai, e kamakani e ke pā mai me ki ia, au hea, ku upua ka kamakani e ke pā mai me ki ia au hea ku upua ka Uali ke no wali ke lau me ku honi hana E po o ke leika piko na kuahiwi Mai moloka inui a haina Haina i ka behi behi E ho'i na mau E ni ai E ho'i na mau
A dance from the Philippine Islands, accompanied by the Susanna Serenaders, Faley and Frank Guerrero, Planting Rice.
Planting rice is never fun. Get from morn till the set of sun. Cannot stand and cannot sit. Cannot rest for a little bit. When the early sun is raised, you will wander as you might. In what muddy neighborhood there is work and pleasure.
We'll have more entertainment in a moment. Right now we want to talk with Francis Dunning, Project Director for Area-Wide Opportunities for Senior Citizens. Bud, will you explain what this program is?
Area-Wide Opportunities for Senior Citizens is a model project operated by the City and County of Honolulu Office of Human Resources. It's a project in which we hope to demonstrate ways that we can help the elderly, and our chief objective is to reduce isolation for the elderly in Kalihi Palama, Kalihi Valley, Chinatown area.
That's the area that it covers.
Yes. We extend from Nuuanu Avenue on the Diamond Head side to Middle Street on the Eva side, and from the ocean all the way up the valley.
Now, where do the funds come from?
We are funded by the Administration on Aging,
That's the
Health,
National
Education, and
Administration.
Welfare, yes. Our funds come to the State Commission on Aging and are in turn given to the city and county.
Now, how is the city and county involved? Just as a funding agency? Or?
No, we are the operating agency. We in turn subcontract out various components to other agencies in the area.
I see. What kind of an outlook do you have and hopes and plans for this project?
Well, we are in our second year of operation now. We are funded through February 28th, 1974, but I believe that we have made enough of an impact so that we can find other sources of funds. We will have to find other sources.
Oh, the federal funds terminate at that time.
Area-wide model funds terminate at that time. There will be some funds coming from the federal government in other categories of the Older Americans Act, but not in the amount that we are getting this year.
Well, thank you very much, Bud. Back to our entertainment now as the Susanna Serenaders present Show Me How to Do the Hula. Ti'iloni Horton dances.
Caught in tropical breeze, now you learn to do the hula like they do in Honolulu. And when you hum me low, turn my hunting out for Wiki. Show me how to do the hula like they do in Honolulu. And when you smile, a pretty smile, turn my hunting out for Wiki. Show me how caught in a tropical breeze. Now you learn to do the hula like they do in Honolulu. And when you hum me low, turn my humming down for Wiki Wiki. Onikawa, Wiki Wiki.
Ti'iloni Horton, and we've asked her to come over and join us here for a little chat because she has quite a background. Ti'iloni, how long have you been here in Hawaii?
Since 1939,
1939. You came here from where?
from LA.
From Los Angeles.
Yes.
But where were you born and raised?
I was born and raised in American Samoa,
Oh, yes.
Pango Pango, American Samoa.
What did you do when you came to Hawaii?
Well, I came to Hawaii. I went to the mainland. From here, I went to the mainland.
Mm-hmm.
And I lived there for 24 years.
Mm-hmm.
I got married in the mainland and came to Hawaii in 1939.
Didn't you work for Fernandez, E.K.
Yes.
Fernandez, when you first came here?
Yes, sir. I worked for E.K. Fernandez in 1939, when I first came to Hawaii.
And you danced the Tahitian dance then?
Yes, I brought the first drum dance to the island of Hawaii in 1939.
In other words, the fast Tahitian dance as we know and see today, you introduced in Hawaii.
I'm quite sure I was.
Now, you were here during the war years, weren't you?
Yes, sir.
And what did you do during that time?
Well, I was still with E.K. Fernandez, and I joined the USO. My daughter and I joined the USO.
Oh.
I have a daughter.
Entertained the USO then? Huh?
Yes, sir.
You were in motion pictures, quite a few motion pictures.
Yes, I worked in motion pictures. I worked quite a few. Hurricane, Waikiki Raining, Bird of Paradise, The Real Glory with Kerry Cooper. That was the last picture I worked with Kerry Cooper. It's a Filipino production.
Oh, yes.
Mhm.
Now, have you continued your dancing all through the years?
Well, I remarried in 1946, and my husband was the chief petty officer in the submarine, and he told me I better stop dancing and stay home and raise my daughter, send my daughter to school.
Oh.
And he had make enough money to support my daughter and I, so the girl can have a education to go to school, you know. So I gave up all that. When my daughter got married, I went back to teach at the YWCA. And I was struck with pneumonia. I had a German flu, and I was isolated at Tripler Hospital for 6 months.
Oh, boy.
And I had a contract to fulfill, and I told my doctor about it. He said, don't worry, you're not going to entertain for 2 years. I will sign the paper, and so to release you from the contract. So I've been at rest all this time, but I was struck with arthritis, rheumatism, enlarged heart, name it. I had it all, I guess because I didn't have that movement
Because
anymore.
you weren't dancing,
I think so.
And now you're back dancing now.
Oh, I like it very much. Especially I entertain for the senior citizens of Honolulu, for Susanna Wesley and the Kamakura Malloy. I enjoyed every bit of it. I know I'm not a very good dancer. I'm not a hula dancer. But I try my best, because if I could make somebody smile and clap their hand for me, that means all the money in the world.
Yeah. Well, Ti'iloni, we're certainly glad to have you back dancing again. Thank you. Music and dance now from still another island as Tsuru Kaneshiro performs an Okinawan dance accompanied by Taro Shiroma.
Wagao moro sato ni
Again, music of our own islands from Kauai. Hano, Hano, Hanalei. Another man involved with area-wide opportunities for senior citizens is Robert Omura, Executive Director of Catholic Social Services. Bob, how did Catholic Social Services get involved in this elderly program?
Actually, we got started about 2 years ago when 2 young social workers expressed an interest in working with senior citizens. And at that time, we were operating out of our branch office out in Kalihi Valley Housing. And we canvassed the area and we located or identified 125 senior citizens working there. So our start really started there 2 years ago.
Well, I understand this project is made up of a number of components. What part does Catholic Social Services administer?
We have what we call the Comprehensive Individualized Services for senior citizens.
What are the various service elements in this component? How do they all work together?
Right, the word comprehensive individualized services may sound overwhelming.
Yeah.
However, we have a number of various type of services included in our component. And they include the consumer education specialists, outreach. The outreach is to identify and refer senior citizens who are in need of help. Then we have the reassurance consumer services, and these people go out and give the actual services to the senior citizens. We also have included in this is the home chore services. We have 4 home aides who go out and clean or do whatever kind of home maintenance kind of things that's necessary. And then we have on call, in case there are minor repair works to be done, a plumber or carpenter to go in and help the elderly people. We have a new element in our services this year, and that is the counseling component, or counseling element within a component. And this is to offer counseling to the senior citizens. many times we feel that once a person has reached what we call the senior citizen age, that they don't need any type of counseling. But our experience has shown that, that there is a lot of counseling that's necessary. One area in particular is the area of grief and dying.
Yes. Well, now, in the time you've been associated with this program, have you noticed any improvement in the elderly situation?
Definitely. The places that I've visited, you see a tremendous increase in the participation. For instance, in the Kalihi Valley housing area, at one point where the project seemed to be, was going to be terminated, the citizens expressed great concern, saying that, if this project terminated, that they were just going back home and sit idly by themselves. So, and they've participated in meetings. This last few months, this whole project was in danger of being cut off from federal funding, and our citizens went around and our workers went around and got all the signatures to sign petitions. So they are actively involved in doing new things and getting active politically, which is good.
Very good. Well, thank you, Bob. We're getting a musical trip around the Pacific today, and this time a dance of Samoa, performed by Te Iloni Horton and Afalava Li'ili'i. Back to Hawaii again with the Susanna Serenaders, Hi'ilave. Thank you, serenaders, dancers, and Francis Dunning and Robert Omura of Area-Wide Opportunities for Senior Citizens. This is Bob Barker leaving you with this thought. All that is valuable in human society depends upon the opportunity for development accorded the individual.
Try to remember when life was so tender.